Good evening. Good to see everybody here this evening. So I'm not a huge book reader or anything like that, but if I do read something, it's probably nonfiction in nature and probably slightly boring. But regardless, a few years ago, I was reading something I found quite interesting. It was a book by Malcolm Gladwell. He's a writer of some psychology, sociology type books. And this particular book talked about some of the reasons why people are successful and some reasons why they're not. And one topic specifically that was mentioned was something called the 10,000 hour rule. And it says that it takes about 10,000 hours for you to become an expert on any given item. 10,000 hours of effort put into it. And with regards to that, an example given in this book was about music prodigies. So there's, lots of great music prodigies. They've all got great raw talent, but only a few of them will ever make it to the top conservatories. So out of a select group, there's an even fewer select that make it. And so that begs the question, if they're all good enough, technically, why didn't they all make it? And the reason is, simple. Some of them put more effort into it. Maybe they're less distracted by things that are not practicing their music. They're more dedicated to it. Maybe they enjoy it more. But regardless, they hone their talent more than all the others. And so around the time I was reading this, I like to build things, like to work on things. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but maybe sharpening some sort of talent, or at least attempting to. And so I began to wonder, had I surpassed the 10,000 hour mark with maybe learning how things work or something like that? Possibly, depending on how you calculate it, very possibly. At the time I read that book, it was possibly somewhere between 8,000 hours and 10,000 hours. And that's counting for building the stuff, thinking about how to build it, failing, trying again, failing, trying again, research, and such and so forth. But, of course, that's not the most important thing in this world. What about spiritual things? What about studying? What about thinking about God? How to put 10,000 hours into that? So I begin to think about that question. And so just some data points to kind of give you an idea about 10,000 hours on things related to faith. If you were to take into account the number of hours per week only at church services at about 4, with perfect attendance, just that alone, how many hours would that give over an entire lifetime? Well, if you became a Christian at 15 years of age, you lived to 75, that only gives you about 13,000 hours. Put it another way, that's 10 years, the last 10 years of your life is only when you surpass that threshold. And while attending services is, of course, vital to our Christian lives, it helps edify us. Not only are we supposed to do it, it's a joy to come, and et cetera, and so forth. One can only imagine that those hours attended don't consist nearly of the full training that's really required to sharpen our skills as Christians. And really makes us think, how much time is enough time? How much time are we really spending on spiritual matters? Are we on the path to become an expert? Because I really have reason to believe we should be putting in the time. I mean, think about verses like Joshua 1:8. Keep this book of the law on your lips, meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful. And, of course, the Bereans in Acts 17. Now the Berean Jews were of more noble character than those in Thessalonica, for they received the message with great eagerness and examined the Scriptures every day to see if what Paul had said was true. As a result, many of them believed, as also did a prominent number of Greek women and many Greek men. So, are we putting in the time? If we are an expert, great, but are we living like an expert? I certainly think that we all should be, and while I know that these thoughts are not rocket science or possibly anything new, I do hope it was an encouragement to all of us as we strive to serve the Lord, and a good reminder of where we should be focused. And if we can help you serve the Lord in any capacity tonight, please come as we stand and sing.